All right, hello everybody. This is Tim Sweeney. I'm the men's basketball coach here at Connecticut College, and I am thrilled to be joined today by Jah Washington, class of 2007. Has a very impressive bio since graduating and going on from Connecticut College, which includes the following: founder of JTW Fit Incorporated, with an emphasis on personal fitness and helping people achieve their goals. Also founded Harlem HIT, H-I-I-T, which focused on providing fitness at a quality and affordable rate in Harlem and beyond in New York City. Also responsible for the Lawrence B. Smith Scholarship Fund, which I believe has been in existence since 2013. And I guess finally, 2007 grad, double major, economics, human development. My son Henry is in the lab school, so Dr. O'Connor was thrilled that I'd be talking to you today, Jah. So that's good. And then probably the biggest and most recent development is winner of the Men's Health Next Top Trainer, which was an incredible feature in men's health. And so very excited to have Jah with us. So Jah, welcome today.
Hey, thank you. It's been a long time since I've been on College campus, but a lot of memories, a lot of stories, and certainly I learned a ton that's helped me to get where I am at today. And hopefully I can share my story with you guys and, motivate you and you guys can find some sort of benefit.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate your time. I guess the first question I'll ask you is, 2020 has been a challenging year, for a lot of people. Certainly very proud of you as an alum with this recent exposure with Men's Health. I got a chance to watch some of it. It looked like an incredibly grueling and intense competition, to say the least. What do you feel like you took from that, Jah? How does that help you springboard some of your initiatives in New York City, specifically Harlem, and what you're trying to do in the fitness community? And where do we go from here with that?
Definitely a loaded question. What I definitely learned from the challenge itself is, when I put myself in uncomfortable situations, I tend to learn some things about myself in terms of just the amount of preparation I'm going to put into things. I'm going to give my all. I don't like that feeling of not being ready or prepared. So I tend to do really well in those circumstances. If I'm looking at when I quit my job in 2016 to kind of start this whole fitness journey, that was a super uncomfortable situation. And had I not left my role in finance, none of this really happens because I couldn't put the energy, the time, the effort into it to really, bring about the things that I'm seeing right now in terms of my success in my career. So getting uncomfortable is a big deal. It's necessary for growth. And I think, a lot of people tend to shy away from things that are challenging, or they don't really see the end. If they can't really see or picture themselves there, they tend to shy away and go with something that's more normal or they're more accustomed to. And sometimes it doesn't allow you to kind of explore your potential and really maximize on it. So that was something that was really important to me. Obviously, once I got into the challenge and won the first week, I started to feel really good. And it also allowed me to shift my mind to something more positive. 2020, as much success as I had, it was definitely a struggle. There was a lot of challenges, and it was the one thing I could focus on, really put some energy into and have some fun and not really think about all the other things that I have going on. So nice to kind of shift your mindset for a second and again, really just focus on something that's fun, different, new. And lastly, get to kind of put my business out there, put me out there as a fitness professional and really kind of show my community, show my family, show my clients that, if you go really hard, if you're dedicated, if you're committed to whatever it is, you can see some really good things happen for yourself. So, one thing I tell my clients all the time is I say, who's better than us? Right? And I tell them to get in, go hard, get out. That's like our motto. And, who am I to not go as hard as possible and show them as an example, like, hey, I'm giving you this energy and effort. I'm telling you these things. Well, hey, check me out. All right. And now I'm the winner. So now when I go back to classes and now I'm talking to them, I think it's received a little bit more. Knowing that your coach is like Men's Health Next Top Trainer, whatever that might end up being for me in the future. But a great experience. It taught me a lot. I learned a lot from the other coaches. I learned a lot from the judges. And I learned some things about my personality and things I need to kind of adjust to do a little bit better in the fitness space. Be a little more smiley every so often, right? Try to show a little more personality. Be open to criticism. Right, and use it as a tool rather than look at it as a negative. one thing for me is if I want to move forward and I want to grow, I need to hear all the bad things. You know, the good things I kind of know about myself already. It's those minor tweaks that get you from point A to point B that are going to be a lot more important.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, it was great to watch some of the episodes, and I kind of feel like maybe the old competitor from your collegiate athletic days came out in you a little bit. Maybe some of the basketball background was able to come out and shine. But it's great to hear, also about the learning process and for you to make those improvements. I've got to ask you, Jah, because I think this will be relevant to a lot of the students at Con. How difficult was it to pivot from the finance world? And I was remiss not to mention that you had a very successful career in finance after Con at first. How hard was it to pivot from that industry? And maybe what have you taken from the finance industry and carried over with you into the fitness industry?
It was pretty challenging. You know, you get accustomed to a normal, right? Whatever that is for you. And going to work every day and knowing what I was doing and it was a little bit of monotony, but just, again, knowing my job, knowing my role, knowing how to do it well, and obviously being able to be paid pretty well for it, it just made it easy to just sit there and go about day to day and just, and really can kind of be relaxed knowing that I got my money coming in, I have a paycheck, I can handle my bills, I can actually do the things I love to do. But there was no fire behind it. I had no passion. It was getting to be more boring. I was waking up more upset that I had to go in, over the years. And so I didn't like that feeling for myself. And I was doing some training during that time frame, but it was more of a hobby at that time. Around 2015 is when I kind of started doing a little bit of math, and I started looking at, okay, I'm, working with a few clients, and I was just like, well, if I actually, put my energy into this, I could probably make my salary or do a little bit better, and be doing something that I love, be creating my own hours, creating my own pricing, and not really having to have someone else tell me, what my value is, when I deserve a raise, when I should get a bonus. I can kind of, create my own lane. And so I started to think a little harder on it, and maybe this will work. So what I did was, I think for most people, if you are looking to shift careers or make a jump into entrepreneurship, I didn't just jump without a plan. So, I don't want people to think that I saved up. I made sure that the amount of money I was bringing in could handle a lot of my normal day-to-day expenses, right? Things that I wanted aren't necessarily needs. So you just start to kind of scrap some stuff and put it to the side for a bit. It takes a little bit of sacrifice and really, updating your books and kind of figuring out what makes sense at the time. Some people might need to keep it as a part-time thing. If you have kids, when I quit, I was 30 years old, no family, no kids. So I had the opportunity to jump out there and make a mistake potentially, and I could go back into a finance role or some sort of another position. Not everyone can do that, So obviously take a look at your own lifestyle and needs and wants, and really make a conscious decision. But if you're going to do it, don't half-ass it. Kind of put all your energy into it, and really focus on it, because I notice, again, when I'm prepared and I'm putting a lot of time into it and I have my details set, a lot of good things happen. And it was the best thing that I did, moving forward, being able to open my own studio right in Harlem was a big deal for me. So, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. The preparation that you mentioned and having a plan, that's so big. And I know your story can be very inspirational. It's inspired me, and I know it can be inspirational for, I think, a lot of the current generation, particularly of college age students and those coming up to see what you've been able to accomplish. Jah, let me rewind a little bit. Let me ask you this: How did you discover Connecticut College? How did we talked off camera about how you were at Frederick Douglass Academy in New York. Tell us a little bit about your story. How did you find Connecticut College, and what led you to New London?
So, kind of a funny story. Frederick Douglass Academy, right? Really big college preparatory school. Like, they put a lot of attention on education and really wanted you to, one, get into a very good school, but also try to get in there for free if you can. So, big on like finding you financial aid, also figuring out how to, beef up your resume in terms of community service and playing sports and being involved in different organizations, just to give yourself a more well-rounded approach, so that when you do approach a school, you're not just an athlete, you're not just brains, you're not just a student, but you bring things to the table that can allow, the community at the college to grow. And so, I did a lot of community service, obviously played a number of different sports. Just basketball was one I was, pretty good at. And really just kind of figure out, arts and crafts and things like that. And, I applied to 20 colleges, which most people don't even know. Like my Patrick Mangan, my high school coach, was big on just having opportunities and having options. And he's like, you can't apply to too many schools. Like, there's no such thing. Just apply, get your options open, and then start to hone in on what it is you're looking for, what you might want to be doing in terms of your continuing education. And then you can start to map that out. But never limit yourself. Have your top 3 schools, of course, and then I don't care if you have 17 more, because you just never know what the response is going to be. So I ended up applying to 20 schools, all the CUNYs, all the SUNYs, and then Connecticut College, someone from actually came to the school to kind of talk about the school, talk about, what we could expect, what the experience could potentially be like. And so I went up for one of the weekends to check it out. But the other part of it is right after I applied to the school, applications already in, I played in a tournament. I believe it might have been in New Jersey, and had a really good weekend, like just one of my best weekends of play. And Coach Satchon was there, and he came up to myself, Malik Brown, and my other friend, Lauren Smith. We all were like, our little clique. We, played together forever and wanted to recruit all 3 of us. And so it was just kind of funny. He was like, yeah, I'm from Connecticut College. I'd love to get you guys to apply, maybe come up and visit the school. And all of us had already applied to the school like a week and a half ago. So it was just like weird that the way it connected, and it just started to make sense. And Coach Satchon is, not shy, very aggressive. He was calling us every day, calling our parents every day, just really working super hard to get us into school, trying to, figure out what he could help us with in terms of like financial aid, and just figuring out how to make it more comfortable for us, and, making us more confident in him that he would do right by us when we got there. So, we had a really good visit, met some of the team, met some of the players, got to speak to a lot of the college campus and community, and felt good. It was going to be very new for us, coming from Harlem. But, Malik and I and all of us, we were very open-minded, loved diversity, loved like people. So we kind of knew we would be able to kind of fit in and make it worthwhile while we were there. So, again, small world, and just he happened to be there at a particular time when we all were just clicking and playing really well. We had already applied, and, the relationship kind of grew from there.
That's it's real serendipity that Coach Satchon happened to be at that event, and I can attest to Coach Satchon's recruiting ability and persuasion. When I was a young college assistant, Coach Satchon was very good to me when I was coming up in the business. So that's a really neat story. And Jahs being a little bashful later on that season, if I'm not mistaken, right? You had to check Sebastian Telfair, who we all remember is maybe the number 1 player in the country in the PSAL playoffs. So you had quite a career in New York City.
Definitely a way to. Didn't want to lose, but it was a good way to end. It's a good story to tell. Like if I'm going to lose to somebody, I'd rather lose to somebody who goes to the NBA and plays 15 years. I'll take that.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Well, Jah, so it sounds like a lot of things came together to find Connecticut College. I guess I'll pivot now and ask you, maybe in a general sense, what are some of your just fondest memories of the college, if I can ask you that?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you, graduation was obviously the most important. Special day for me, in my community. Not a lot of my closest friends graduated college. Some of them didn't even finish high school. Great people, just, either education wasn't for them, or the timing, or just situations, just didn't have that luxury. So that was huge for me to be able to come back to my community, come back to my block where I grew up, and show them like, hey, we all grew up together. Yeah, you might not be able to do it, but I'm doing this for myself, but I'm also doing it for you, because I need you guys to see the growth, see the potential, and hopefully, be a sort of motivation for them to either maybe finish school or go back or pick up a trade, but like just know that the opportunities for them and for us are limitless, and to never, hold you back because one situation kind of held you down. So that was a big thing. Obviously my mom, super proud. My sister was a first graduate. My role model went to Westtown, Pennsylvania, big time boarding school, Cornell, Duke. So like she's always been, about her business and applying herself. And she's somebody that I looked up to forever. So, that day was special for me because, to me, to be able to look at her and be like, I did it was a big deal. So that's the biggest memory. Outside of that, I think freshman year, coming on campus was a big deal. Feeling very uncomfortable, but excited. Just a weird dynamic of, I felt like I belonged here, but obviously, being a minority on campus didn't look like everyone. It didn't look like most people. So there was that wanting to fit in, but also wanting to be myself that I went through. But I remember one story, Malik and I, so Lawrence ended up not going to Con College. He ended up going to Baruch. But Malik and I went to Con, and we looked at each other and said, hey, we're going to be here for 4 years. We might as well, let's get to know people. Let's not have them make assumptions about us. Let's just put ourselves out there. And so what we did one day was we pretty much went to all the dorms, just in and out dorms, knocking on doors, pretty much just introducing ourselves to people. Hey, this is Jah Malik. This is Jah Malik. Hey, how you doing? We're from Harlem. We're here. We academics. We play sports. And really just went to everyone, whoever would have a conversation with us. And I feel like by a week later, like everyone knew Jah and Malik, like inseparable, these two that just never leave each other's side. It was like a Jah and Malik thing. If you saw me, it'd be like, where's Malik? If you saw Malik, why is Jah not with you? But it made it a lot easier, moving forward. Every day just seemed a lot easier, seemed better because we just knew people and they kind of knew more about us and, why we were there and what our intentions were. And, I guess we probably gained a little more respect there as well. And it was nice to just feel comfortable, being able to say, hey, hey, John, hey, this person, hey, that person. And it just made it a lot more comfortable moving forward. It was a little bit easier. So that was like a funny day because like people were like, why would you even do that? Like, these people don't even want to talk to you, but it ended up being like a good thing. And then, now when you're going out or you're meeting people, you're trying to make connections, like we know pretty much, a good amount of people at the school. We might not be able to keep in touch now as much because obviously everybody's older and, family and things like that. But if you know Jah, you know Malik. If you know Malik, you know Jah. So outside of that, I mean, there's so many stories. I had a lot of fun. I can say that I had a lot of fun. Basketball was a great experience. Keep in touch with all of these guys. Now people getting married, having kids, baby showers. So it's nice to just see everybody who's left the college and grown and matured and they're doing some amazing things. And we all just kind of keep in contact with each other, keep each other motivated. Still talk a lot of trash about basketball, who still got it. Obviously, I'm the one who's in the best shape right now, so I think I still got everybody, got everybody's number there. So just, the athletics and, again, just meeting people and making those connections and just having people know who I am and what I'm about, over and over and over is important to me.
Yeah. I love that, the story about putting yourself out there with Malik and kind of going around and introducing yourself to lots of people. It brings up an interesting point, Jah. What advice, or maybe you already kind of answered this, but what, as we look at our college campuses now and we want to make them places for, personal growth and learning and career preparation, what do you see as things we can do as a community to foster that almost even more, if that makes sense?
I mean, I think just more, so what I try to do, I guess I can use my business as an example. Something that I pride myself on is obviously making every single person feel extremely comfortable, extremely confident. It's a diverse group. I want, all shapes, all sizes, race, ethnicity, background. I want everybody in one room to feel extremely confident in that space. Don't feel like they're being left out, not limited. And, my job is to make them interact and become a community and become a family and share those differences, explore those differences, and also in the same breath, realize how similar we all are. And that's something that keeps my business thriving. It's what keeps it going outside of the exercise. Like that's like the least important part. Because now you have that dynamic where people trust each other, they love each other, they want to be around each other, they grow, they learn, they start to support each other outside of the studio, birthdays, job situations, you name it. And exercise becomes like, oh, so I'm going to the studio to see my friends, and I'm also about to squat, deadlift, and bench press and get some work in. That dynamic can go a long way in our community, in this society. I think that we all kind of put ourselves in boxes, something that affects one person. If it doesn't affect me, I'll leave it alone. Whereas we all need to be integrated and really start to learn about each other, dive into issues that don't necessarily affect us, because it could at some point, or maybe it's affecting someone who you consider a friend, who's supposed to be someone that's really close to you. Let's not shy away from, what's happening in the world. Let's actually sit and have these conversations and try to bring about some change. It's very easy to turn your back on something that doesn't necessarily affect you. And I think it's wrong. So, in terms of my business and the college campus, kind of using that dynamic, I think would allow all of us to grow and just be better people. And, when you're a better person, you present yourself to the world a little bit differently, with more confidence. And again, I think you'll promote a lot more change that way.
Yeah. Well, Jah, I appreciate that. And just getting to know you here quickly. I mean, there's no doubt that you positively influenced a lot of folks when you were here as a student. All right, so let me ask you this: what's your most vivid basketball memory? As the basketball coach here, I want to know when the loose field house was rocking, or what would you point to as maybe your favorite basketball memory as a student athlete?
Ooh, vivid basketball memory. Let's talk about the negative first. I guess we'll go there first. So I'm used to being in a very winning program at FDA. To be quite honest, we weren't that great, right? We had a ton of talent. A lot of skill. Guys were really, fun to be around. But we just, from a player standpoint, we could have done a lot better. From a coaching standpoint, we just couldn't click. We didn't figure it out. First 2 years, 5 and 18, right? I mean, getting smoked, losing by a lot, and it wasn't uncommon. I mean, it wasn't common for me, and it was tough. Like, to the point where I'm like, wow, like I could, potentially thinking about quitting. Like, I don't want to play like this. Like, this is not what I signed up for. But the fighter in me was just like, you know what? Let's keep going. Let's get better. This is adversity, right? This is how life works. You're not going to just have it your way all the time. And who are you to quit when everybody else is still here practicing, playing, and trying to give their all? So that was probably the worst time, is just the losing and really having to, suck it up and like just continue to fight and just try to get better. And we got better. Third year, we went 13-10, I believe. Fourth year around the same record. Never really NESCAC playoffs made. I think we made it one time, but there was growth. And I could, when I step away from the program, as much as I wish we could have done a lot better, there was a lot of growth, and I can live with that because now I take a lot of those lessons, and I'm always using it, now when I'm with my clients or when something comes up that's just difficult for me. Hence 2020, right? Whole nightmare where I thought about quitting, which I think we'll probably get to in a second. Vivid memories. I remember having a really terrible free throw shooting year. I want to say junior year, we're playing Bates at home. They got a point guard named Zach Ray. I'll never forget. Really good point guard. And we're blowing them out by like 20 points. How, I don't know, but we just had a great day. Everybody was clicking shots going in. Defense was on point. And they just started fouling me from like the start of the second half to the finish. Like anytime I touched the ball, like they had a couple of possessions, but they were just fouled. And I was probably shooting like 50. I was just having a really rough year. Just couldn't make a basket. And I think I went like 13 for 15 or something like this from the line. Like just went up confident, let everything out. Like I felt like I was in the gym alone. And then I remember after the game, like Coach Satrin, super animated, runs over, was like giving me a hug, rubbing my head. Like he's just so excited, like, because, we hadn't won a game in a while, and like to beat Bates was a big deal. And so that was a good experience. Like the crowd was just roaring. This is free throws. Like most people, it's not a dunk. I'm not hitting threes. I'm literally getting the crowd roaring off of some free throws. So it was like not something I was used to. You think about a crossover, put somebody on the floor with a move, and that's where you get the crowd roaring. I'm like, I can't believe I'm shooting free throws right now. And like, this is the big deal today. So that was a good time. That was a really good experience.
That's awesome. So that signature win, we were, this was year one for me this past year, John. We had our 50th anniversary of the men's basketball program, actually celebration last January, before kind of the craziness started to happen. And, we got a small taste of that, I guess, with Loose Rock, and it was really loud and lost in double overtime to Trinity. But that's great to hear that signature win is etched in your memory. And listen, 13 free throws. I'm a coach. That's a big time performance. I don't care what level, where you are. That's huge to go 13 for 15. So
average up a bit too. So I was okay with that.
Awesome. One more con question before we kind of get up to current date is I just asked you, I noticed that you're involved, I think, with Investment Club and some other organizations on campus. Anything stand out, Jah, in terms of during your time at Con, like maybe things outside of sports that had an impact on you?
Anything outside of the investment club?
Or that as an example, but yeah, anything outside of basketball that you look back on and say, hey, this might be something.
Yeah. I think so. Two things come to mind. Obviously, being a mentor when I was a sophomore. Just working with other students of color that were coming in, again, trying to make that transition. I had one kid. I'm really blanking on his name right now, which is bothering me. But he came. He was a guy from the Bronx. Smart guy. But it's that transition and trying to adjust and from being at home and being around your family. Being around all your friends and knowing everyone, like it was tough. It was tough for myself to the point where, I don't tell many people this story, but, it was one time I kind of broke down in my room, just like in tears, crying, thinking like, I don't want to be here. Like, I can't deal with this. I just don't feel like I belong here. I've had that moment a few times, but there was one vivid time where I was just like crying actually helped. And I called my mother. It was probably 1 a.m. And she's like, no, you got this. You're built for this. You were born this way. Like, just stick it through. Try to at least finish out the year before you go make a crazy decision to just leave campus. And I just that when I woke up the next day, I felt refreshed that I actually just let it out and spoke on it. But when I got the chance to be a mentor, I tried to do my best to try to help and make someone comfortable and make them feel like they belong, and so they didn't have to kind of deal with what I dealt with because I didn't want anybody to experience that themselves. Just trying to, hone in on that and hey, these are the things that are happening here for me. This is how I've been coping. I told him that same story about walking up to people on campus and kind of introducing yourself. Exercise was always a big thing, a way to kind of get away from everybody. Obviously, sports was always my favorite pastime. So just kind of, dive into the things you really love to do. Find people on campus that love those things as well. And you kind of can make those connections. It's an easier way to build some relationships and gain some friends, which also leads me to just my overall college experience. Like, I just love I think the diversity and having to learn how to deal with different people from different backgrounds, from different cultures, even as an athlete, being a point guard and just having to deal with different egos and different personalities and things like that. All of that has kind of shaped me into who I am today. And that's another reason it allows me to do well in my business. I'm able to find, and I think it's a skill. So it can be a learned skill. Some people just have a knack for it. But, learning how to deal with people, be a people person before anything, right? If someone finds a situation that makes them comfortable and happy, they're more likely to stay there, they're more likely to spend their money there, they're more likely to promote and bring people to that particular space. And so when you're able to talk to people and learn people and really, try to learn them and understand them and show respect and support, I think you get a lot out of that. And so, Khan kind of taught me that in terms of just talking to people, feeling comfortable talking to people and putting yourself out there, sitting at a different table each day in the cafeteria, right? Something really simple, but it didn't happen often, right? Maybe let me sit here today and like meet someone new rather than sitting with the same, 10 to 12 people that I know very well. Things like that, I think that's kind of helped shape me. And my mindset, going into the world has always been to treat everybody with kindness, treat everybody the same, be respectful. And whatever happens after that happens. But as long as you're giving good energy and you're being, neutral to everyone, there's a lot of growth in that. And you probably end up getting some really good energy back from that.
Jah, I appreciate that answer. I mean, I just truly hope like our players, our basketball players and a lot of folks are tuning into this, because I think what you just did there is pretty significant. And, for somebody like yourself who's at the top of their game, so to speak, in their profession right now and doing extremely well, I think all of us, older former athletes or former college students can talk about those moments perhaps where you feel a little bit of that imposter syndrome or in your case, like you didn't feel like you belonged. And that's a really powerful story. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I just hope that people are listening and watching, because especially with the current generation of kids that are in college and going through this, whether you're in college or not, just the current youth, if they can hear that and understand that that's not unusual, or there's a lot of strong people that have felt that way before. I just can't commend you enough for that. So appreciate you sharing that.
And the strongest people are the ones that are typically dealing with some stuff.
Yeah.
So just, always check in. There's a quote like check on your strong friends. That's a big deal. The ones who seem like they got it all together, half the time really might just need you to ask how they're doing, and they might need to vent. It's not always the ones that look like they're going through it. The ones that are going through it sometimes are the ones that actually can manage. They're just figuring it out, but they're just very, external. Those who hide in the shell, who look like they're just super strong, you might want to just check in, and just kind of see what's going on, because you just never know.
Yeah, well said. And certainly that segues us into 2020 and sort of this crazy environment we all know we're in. So, I know you're pressed for time. You're going to be getting somebody else stronger and fitter in a second here. So I know we're running out of time. So what's ahead for you, Jah? What does 2021 look like for you? What are some goals moving forward? Would love to hear more about some of the initiatives, whether it's in the community or with your own personal business. What's next for you? What can we expect to see? I'm sure you're going to be all over men's health, which is exciting, but what's next?
So I guess, we'll start with men's health. So I'm actually shooting tomorrow. So I have my first bit of content tomorrow. So we're doing some YouTube workouts. So I'll be doing seven-minute workouts on YouTube. So it'll be some upper body, some lower body, some core, some conditioning type of drills. But basically, for those who are pressed for time or can't really find time or really only have, minimal to get things done, putting together some 7-minute workouts that are going to be super challenging, right? No breaks. It's going to be hardcore, so that you can, maximize on whatever time it is that you have. Again, the motto is get in, go hard, get out. And the premise behind that is don't think about the fact that you don't have an hour. Right? If it's 30 minutes, make it the best 30 minutes ever. If it's 20 minutes, you can still do it. And quite frankly, I've got some 5-minute drills that'll put some people, on their butts really quickly. So, time shouldn't be an issue ever. We prioritize other things, and sometimes we need to kind of maybe step back from that and put more time to this, because, fitness, health, and wellness is going to be big. If you want to be here for a long time, that should be one of your priorities. So I'll be shooting that. At the end of the month, I'll be shooting 5 20-minute workouts. So those are going to be a little bit longer for those who have some extra time and want to get those done. That'll be at a called All Out Studio. So those are the two big things to plan for. At the end of the year, there's some magazine stuff going on. I'll be able to kind of put my own program in there. I'll be getting my CSCS, so Certified Strength and Conditioning Specialist, getting that cert this year. So that'll allow me to kind of do a little bit more and, show myself in a different light in terms of like what that certification offers and allows me to do as a fitness professional. For my personal business, building on our virtual program, 2020, having to shut down the studio, not being able to do in-person classes, forced us into learning how to be online and how to create content. And we actually learned that we're pretty good at it. We can, some bells and whistles, we need probably some things we need to tweak, but we did a really good job of pivoting super fast, adjusting on the fly, getting something up and running a week after being shut down, which is a big deal. Our members didn't miss a beat. They were like, you guys are like crazy and awesome, and just like really pushing it to make sure that we're comfortable and we're confident we're still getting our results. So we're going to build in a virtual program, try to probably make it look a little more clean, maybe switch from Zoom to maybe another application that allows us to do a bit more. Right now we have 21 classes a week operating Monday through Sunday. So right now I'm looking for coaches. Obviously I'd like to take a step back a little bit so I can actually, focus on business development. So I can't be teaching at the same time or all the time. So looking for some quality coaches that match our mission, match our energy, and can just provide a quality service, obviously through a computer screen right now. So building on that. Then the last part is just more so figuring out how to, just get creative, figuring out new ways to generate revenue, new ways to bring more clients in. We're going to be doing some like small group training. Obviously we can't do our big classes. So really focusing on smaller groups throughout the day, weight loss challenges, kettlebell instruction. I'm a big kettlebell coach, so doing a lot of kettlebell work and really just finding ways to, just to grab people, get their attention and get them moving, and trying to create workouts that are short and to the point. A lot of people are just, starting out in the new year. So they're just trying to figure out how to get going. An hour might just be a lot. And so we want to make sure that we're getting them little tidbits of like 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute workouts, things that they can digest really quickly, feel good about, and obviously start to create some sort of consistency there. And then outside of that, just doing more stuff like this, speaking on panels, getting on podcasts, letting people know, who we are, what we do, why we do it, and just trying to put our name out there as, especially as a Black fitness professional, big on just being a representation of us. There's a ton of us that don't necessarily get a lot of shine or light or exposure in the fitness world. And so we want to make sure that we're kind of leveling the playing field, bridging the gap, and showing that, we are very good strength coaches. We teach yoga, we do mobility, we are Pilates instructors, and we're damn good. And I just want to make sure that we kind of put that out there. So again, we're all about, equality, diversity, inclusivity. Those are the big things that we're trying to map out now.
This has been tremendous. I feel like I've personally learned a ton just listening to you here today, and I would hope a lot of people are getting a ton out of this. And I just think the preparation, the personality, the authenticity that you display, and it's genuine, is pretty amazing. And all these accolades you've been receiving are well deserved. I actually, as the basketball coach here, I wanted to try to put something together here where we have some of your boys, your teammates, hopefully showing up. So I'm going to see how this works here. Here we go.
Okay.
There's Shavar.
Shav money.
There it is.
Ulises, what's up? What's going on?
How you doing, gentlemen?
Look at you, man. How was the interview?
Good times, man. Good times. It's nice to reminisce, man. It's nice to reminisce. I actually brought up when I was beating Ulises all the time in practice.
That never happened. like your sweater, by the way, Jah.
Shavar can shoot it really well, so but Ulises, I had his number. He was 6'3" and just couldn't guard me. So
That's not true at all. It's all right. I'll let you get away with that this time.
Right.
He's coming out swinging, Ulises.
He is.
He knew it was coming, though. He knew it.
Yeah. Well, Jah, it was great conversation, and I wanted these guys to join in. We're all excited about, obviously, the men's health, exposure. It's just an amazing thing. So, Shavar, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited to jump in and break up the day-to-day. I talk with these guys every now and then, so we're just excited for Jah. He's always been the more mature one of us, so we got this coming up. Here we go.
You heard it. You saw it here first. This is where it starts.
That's my retirement goal, man. As soon as I'm in here.
No, it's awesome. We're proud of you, man. You've always been a leader and someone I looked up to. I was gonna say, you're nationally known a trainer and fitness guru, but I would say your next career is hosting people on their visits. Jah was my host, and he's one of the biggest reasons I came to COD. Awesome.
Fun times.
I wonder how many other camels are out there that Jah, did you host a bunch with Shavar? Obviously, Shavar's had an illustrious career here, so.
Yeah, I think two or three. But what's funny is every time we host, it always ends up being the whole team hosting. Like, it's not so much hosting, it's just that, like, they just stay with you. They sleep in your room. But outside of that, they end up just going out, having a good time, and then you get them back on, get them back to the room safely. But good times, man. Good times.
Awesome. Yeah.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
See Mosley.
How's it going?
Good, man. Tired, but still going, man. I'm starting to shoot those men's health stuff tomorrow, so I was about to pick these last 2 weeks. Just the New Year has been chaotic. Man. Like I've been in the studio from 6 in the morning to 7 p.m. Just nonstop. So I'm trying to figure out how to spread this out a little bit more. I can't burn out too early.
You're always putting out content, man. You're like the content king, man. You're always putting out fitness content. It's great. It's great to see.
They say if you want to be seen, right?
Nobody's
coming to look for you, right? Don't put it out there. That's it. So much content on social media and in the world in general that if you're not exposing yourself or putting yourself out there, like, you miss it. People they're scrolling right by these days. So you got to put something out there that captures attention, and you hone in on, the type of people you want to have in your client base and things like that. So I try to post at least once a day, something, and then just go from there. But yeah, it works. I get a message or two every day about potential clients and things like that. So it's definitely working. Some people get annoyed by it, but it's business is business.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
I saw that you're expanding, Jah. You have a new person in the training realm under you or something.
Yeah. So we brought on some women instructors, to add some diversity as well. Not so much that because they're women, but because they're just dope and they know their stuff.
Yeah.
But it adds a new element, to the fitness world, to our brand in general. But I'm also trying to figure out ways to, step away, because I can't be business development and be teaching, all the time. It doesn't allow me to get some other things done to grow. So trying to step away from a lot of the group fitness stuff, do more of the in-person training, and then really focus on business development. In a non-COVID world, I was supposed to be opening up another studio next year. So, if this vaccine works out and things go back to normal, I want to start getting back to that and, open another studio, in another, maybe Bronx or Brooklyn I'm looking at right now.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, this is my first time meeting Jah, obviously, and you guys as well. So thanks for joining us. The things that jumped out to me were our personality and preparation, if I could sum it up in 2 words. But anybody else have any stories about Jah? I guess we'll call this a kind of a roast of Jah right now. He told me about a game against Bates where he went 13 of 15 from the line. So I'm kind of doing a little fact checking maybe with Ulises and Chris here. I don't know. 13
for 15. I remember that. I don't know, maybe
15. I don't know.
Statistically, those numbers don't match.
Every shot. I might be off by 2 free throws. I'm not sure. It was definitely 10 plus for sure. I know that.
Oh God.
But yeah, these
guys. Are we talking about your senior year?
Shit, I think it was senior, but it was when Zach Ray was playing. He was like at half court. He was behind me the whole time, just talking like he's gonna miss guys. Like we Bates at home by like 20. I don't know how, but we were up by 20 points, and they started just fouling me for like the whole second half.
So he'll make one, and then the following shot, Zach will call out, "Hey, statistically, he's supposed to miss this next one. So get ready to rebound."
50%. He's 50%. Like,
yeah. I remember that.
But yeah, man, good times with these guys, man. Again, I think it sounds crazy, but I feel like we had the most fun. It's the most fun I've had losing, if that makes any sense. Like, as much as it sucked, having these guys around, it made it fun to be around each other. We had good times. We made the most of it. We tried to win, we worked hard, but, it just wasn't for us at that time. But, it made it easier to kind of stay there, not quit, and really just sacrifice, personal wants and needs just for the greater good. So I definitely love y'all for that. If I haven't told you, I a few times in college, I was like, I could walk out of here right now. But, I would never do that to y'all for sure.
Yeah, I'm super proud of Jah. I tell you all the time that I'm really proud of you. But he's one of the most hardworking, most dedicated people I know. And when he has a goal in mind, he's definitely puts his best foot forward to try and accomplish those goals. And I know this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning for Jah. I know he's got a lot more things coming. But again, I'm very proud of you, man. I'm very proud of what you've already accomplished, and I know there's more to come.
Appreciate it, man. I remember when I first spoke to you, Ulises, about I'm about to do this fitness thing, and I remember you mentioned one of your friends having his own studio, and I said I was like, oh, I'll get there. I'm gonna open my own studio. And he's like, you sure? I mean, you only got like 2 clients. He was kind of like,
nah, don't do me like that.
But I was like, now I got time. Like I could see it. I could see it, and I started mapping out what I needed to do to get there. And now I got like the only, strength and conditioning studio in Harlem, which is it's a big deal. Yeah. In terms of that's like exposure and creating my own lane. That's the biggest thing for me. Is I've always been like I don't follow the pack. I like to do it my way. Obviously with taking feedback and criticism, but like I have a goal and I see it. I'm just gonna go for it.
Yeah.
That makes sense coming from a 5'9" power forward.
Yeah, 7 feet at heart, that's for sure, man. couldn't tell me nothing, man. I felt 6'6" every day, man. Every day.
You live with 10 feet and inside, no threes. 10 feet inside, no floater every now and then, back somebody down, but that's it.
I'll break a press. I get in the lane. You want me to make a three? You know, you might be asking a lot, but it's fine.
We're getting the real scouting report.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Jah was interesting, guys. Jah mentioned multiple times just, you know, that it wasn't always easy, especially when it comes to basketball, but just how close he was with you guys and the team. I'm just curious. It's fun to have all you guys here. Like, how many times in your life do you – I'm not saying directly off of networking of your college teammates do you get an opportunity, but how often do you guys find yourselves, like, circling back to the group? Like, that, you know, Ulises, you just talked about how Jah came to you when he switched careers. Like, is that happening a lot for you guys? Like, how tight is the circle?
I'd say it's pretty tight. We usually stay in touch with everyone. So some people a little more often than others. But speaking for myself, I mean, I speak to Chris here and there. Var, we speak as well. Jah, we speak more often. But we all try to keep in touch and stay in each other's lives. And I hope it continues to stay that way.
I think it's just kind of a mix of professional and personal. You know what I mean? Like, I know when Shav was, you know, really getting into the coaching realm, he, you know, talked to us sometimes about some of his recruiting methods, some of the places he would obviously consult with Charles Stone, with, you know, certain players that he would have coming out of his high school. And, you know, on a personal level, obviously, you know, I just had my first son, and obviously I've been, you know, sticking with these guys to be able to keep me balanced. And
what's his initials, Chris? What's his initials? What's his initials?
Jam. So
Jam.
Jam.
Big time. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. But I mean, I think just with the group, it's something we've always felt comfortable in being able to, you know, even years later, be able to really pull on each other for, even if it's not necessarily just, you know, for consulting, just for uplifting and just to be able to get encouragement from each other. I know we just really try to keep each other focused, keep each other driven, really just try to keep each other encouraged and uplifted.
No, it's great to see people I looked up to. A bunch of these guys were a year or two ahead of me at Con, and they're all doing well. And you know, as always, riding coattails here. And I one of the best moments I've had of late is getting to see Ulises while I was traveling for work, and we got to hang out for a couple of days. And
that was a good time.
Yeah, man, he took me around the neighborhood in LA and things. So wherever we go, we try to stay connected. And I think that's probably going to be forever.
Good to have people you can check in with, man. You know, especially when especially last year. You know, 2020 was just a lot. And, you know, knowing you have people you can text, you can call, get on the group chat, get on the Zoom with, even if it's 5 minutes, just to get a laugh, you know, just something, tell some jokes, let's reminisce for a second. Like, that meant the world. It was refreshing, you know, in a time where I feel like most people just, like, you know, mental health was a big deal, you know, needing therapists and things like that. And just trying to figure, you know, I got a therapist now every Monday, 7:25. I don't miss it. It's super important to me. And it's been very, very helpful in terms of just navigating. But outside of that, you know, just having, you know, therapy is also laughter and just having fun and talking and being able to just kind of get to some sort of bit of normalcy is always a big deal. And, you know, talking to my guys and going back about, you know, all the things we used to do in school and like outside of school, like it means the world. It keeps you feeling like something good is on the way for sure.
Yeah. Yuli, how's your little one?
She's good, man. She's out with her mom right now running errands, but she's a handful, that's for sure. She's a handful, man. Just turned one last month.
Yeah.
But it's just a blessing, man, to be able to watch her grow and watch her develop, and it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. I'm sure you're gonna experience that soon. We'll see. I don't know. We're waiting on you. See Mose, man. See Mose. What's good? How's the baby?
He's taking a nap right now. I mean, both me and my wife Yvonne, have been fortunate to be able to work from home predominantly. So we've been throughout this whole time just at home, and even throughout the process of raising our son. I mean, it's been a blessing in disguise to be able to really just spend more time with him, as opposed to both of us having to kind of navigate childcare and things like that. He's actually taking a nap. He's getting to that point now where he's starting to get way more mobile than we're comfortable with. So it's like right now trying to get to that point where we're always aware and knowing now we can't turn our head for 2-3 seconds and he's just in a whole different place. And yeah, it's getting to that point where it's getting really quick.
Next thing you know, he's gonna be 7.
Time does fly, man. Time does fly.
Next time we speak about him, he'll be 7 and taller than both me and Jah.
Oh,
there she's Stone.
Always late to the party.
Oh yeah, listen, man. Today's the day of meetings, man. But it's not about me. Jah, what's up, man? Hey, how's everybody doing, man? What's up, y'all?
She's Stone. What's good,
bro?
Oh man.
You got about 5 minutes to give your best speech.
What is it? My Hall of Fame speech finally? Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for that, baby.
We're going down memory lane right now. I was telling these guys, they were talking about, do you remember like every time I passed you the ball, how you never got me an assist?
I would fumble it a little bit. Yeah, I shorted you on a few assists, man. Mosley actually paid me to do that because he wanted the assist records. So. It was all scandal against you, Jah.
It's all coming out now, man. Only took 20 years, but it's fine.
I didn't want the assist. I dropped buckets.
No, Mosley wanted the 3 ball, man.
Chris wanted all shots. I'm like,
wave through
3 times in a row.
Wave through
Every time he got the rock.
Go through.
The whole team, like, yo, why are we even out here, man?
I forgot that wave through spin to get
wave
a
through.
Because there's a flare screen that he comes off and he's pulling it every time. He didn't drive and try to penetrate and kick. He was pulling.
If I knew it had been a while since I had pulled the trigger, like I wasn't pulling every time, but if it had been a couple of, it had been about 6-7 possessions, I knew that wave through spin was gonna give me a 3 every time. Every time.
You could tell by the the emphasis in your wave. We knew you were shooting.
Oh yeah, this coming. Just go ahead.
You know what's going up. Move out the way, not even a wave. Move out the way. I'm shooting, man.
I was efficient though. I wasn't yakking. I was efficient.
Yeah, that's true. You did shoot a high clip, so that was all right.
Nice. Little I know of the Princeton offense. That must have been you spin and that tells everybody the fade's coming.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fade screen. I'm wide open. See, Stone, that he had the screen assist. So he definitely made sure I was wide open every time. But I could tell when he was angry that I was getting ready to shoot it, because he gives a flimsy screen.
Right.
So whoever was guarding me,
the ball coming right back to me.
And then he knew that he was going to be able to essentially set everybody up and just run the offense from that point.
Hey, man, I'm going to find some clips and just run like a minute straight of Mosley on wave through spin. I can dig it up. I bet you I could dig that up. That's good.
But I bet you I shot about a 75% clip on the 3 on that play.
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Nice.
Jah, we're proud of you, man.
Yo, man.
Yes, sir.
This was a good time. I didn't expect to see y'all on here, so it's a nice quick catch up again.
Yeah, thanks guys for being flexible. I know I gave you very little notice, so this was really good to be able to surprise Jah a little bit. And I don't know who wants to have the last word. Maybe
I'll
you.
take it. I'll go ahead and take it. Jah, obviously, with everything that you're doing right now, we understand that you're going to places that none of us even really could have imagined you reaching. I knew you were destined for big things, but with everything that's really transpiring right now, I can't think of anybody else that deserves it more that works harder for everything that they're getting right now. So you're a true testament to, if you really work hard and if you really grind for the things that you want in life, I mean, you can really make every dream that you really map out come true. So you're an inspiration to me, you're an inspiration to all of us. And obviously we know this is just the scratching of the surface of everything that's getting ready to come for you. So we're going to obviously make sure that we're keeping you uplifted, keeping you, you know, encouraged. And obviously we're going to keep supporting you as we continue to see you, you know, continue to jump and reach leaps and bounds on everything that you're doing right now, man. So we're proud of you. We love you, man. And obviously, you know, we're here for you if you need anything, man.
I was hoping to retire, but apparently I
a lot of pressure, bro. A lot of pressure.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of tired, man. I'm like, I could stop right now and like write a decent book, you know, and just be like, I made it. I figured things out, but but appreciate y'all, man. It's definitely the beginning. I got a lot more work to do. You know, got some things on the vision board, which if you don't have one, I suggest getting one and writing some stuff down, because something about walking by a board and seeing goals on it and then putting some dates next to it and noticing that does date pass and you haven't done anything, it's more of a little self-check. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, all of us are doing really well. We could always be doing better. And so, you know, set micro goals, you know, 3-month goals, 6-month goals, but things that are attainable. And let's keep growing and keep motivating each other, because, you know, we all we got right now. And that's just what it is, man.
You know, Jah, thanks. You know, guys, this has been like 45 minutes before you guys got here of, you know, things I've been like taking notes on, little things like the vision board there. So I really, the goal of this is to get it out to the College community, obviously, but also with our basketball newsletter. And I just think there's, as you guys have kind of attested to in a short couple minutes, like there's so much good stuff, Jah, that you're, you know, sharing with people, and I think can just be an incredible motivation to a lot of people during these times. So thank you, Jah. I really appreciate it. Guys, would you mind if we can go around and just introduce yourself, like full name, class year? Because like I said, this is going to post to the website, hopefully. And if that's okay with you, if anybody wants to talk to me about that, it's fine. But yeah, is that cool if we go around the circle here? Maybe Shavar, you can start.
Yeah, Shavar Bernier, class of 2010. Guard. Matt.
Come on, man.
This guy. I'm Ulises Veras, class of 2009. I feel old saying that out loud. Wow. And I played whatever position they asked me to play.
Charles Stone, 2008. Big man.
All-time leading scorer, fifth on the list?
I finished 4th.
Gotcha, 4th. Christian Mosley, class of 08.
Awesome, guys. Well, like I said, I really appreciate you guys all making the time for this. Jah, thank you for a great interview. Yeah, I know, Jah, you got to go train. If anybody else, I'd love to.
Over here now, so I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, well, thanks, Jah. All the best to you.